Yes, someone really took a corpse to court. Imagine a pope, long dead, being exhumed and put on trial. This bizarre event is known as the Cadaver Synod. It happened in 897 AD, when Pope Stephen VI decided to prosecute his predecessor, Pope Formosus, who had been dead for 9 months. Why would anyone do this? The political climate in Rome was chaotic. Stephen VI wanted to discredit Formosus, claiming he had violated church laws during his papacy. The scene was shocking. Formosus's body was dressed in papal vestments and propped up on a throne in the courtroom. A deacon spoke on behalf of the deceased pope, defending him against the accusations. Imagine the whispers and gasps from the crowd. The trial ended with a guilty verdict. Formosus's corpse was stripped of its papal garments, and 3 fingers were cut off from his right hand. The body was then thrown into the Tiber River. This gruesome spectacle highlights the extremes of power struggles in the church. The Cadaver Synod remains one of history's most bizarre and shocking events, a true testament to the lengths some will go for power. Ancient Romans had some surprising hygiene practices. One of the most shocking? They used urine as mouthwash. Yes, you heard that right. Urine contains ammonia, a powerful cleaning agent. This means it can help whiten teeth and freshen breath. The Romans believed it was effective, so they collected urine from public urinals and used it to rinse their mouths. Imagine walking into a Roman marketplace, the scent of spices and fresh produce filling the air, but there's also the unmistakable odor of urine. It sounds bizarre today, but to them, it was just another part of daily life. Wealthy Romans even imported urine from distant lands for its superior quality. But why did they trust this unusual method? They had limited options for dental care. Toothpaste as we know it didn't exist. Instead, they relied on natural substances, like crushed bones and herbs. The use of urine may seem outrageous now, but it reflects their innovative spirit. So, the next time you reach for mouthwash, remember the ancient Romans and their peculiar choice. It's a wild reminder of how far dental care has come. Cleopatra and iPhones have more in common than you think. Imagine this. Cleopatra lived around 30 BC, while the Great Pyramid of Giza was completed around 25 and 60 BC. That's a staggering difference of over 2,000 years. Cleopatra was not just a queen, she was a powerful figure in a world that was rapidly changing. Think about it. When she ruled, woolen garments were fashionable, and the Romans were expanding their empire. The pyramids, on the other hand, were ancient relics by her time, already over 2 millennia old. This means Cleopatra was closer to our modern world than to the builders of those grand structures. History is filled with these surprising gaps. The timeline stretches in ways that challenge our understanding. We often think of ancient Egypt as a distant past, but Cleopatra's life was intertwined with events that shaped our civilization. So next time you scroll through your phone, remember that Cleopatra might have been just as fascinated by the world around her. History is not just a series of dates, it's a continuous story that connects us all. Imagine dancing for 6 days straight, until you die. In July 1518 in Strasbourg, hundreds of people suddenly began to dance uncontrollably. They twirled and spun, unable to stop. What caused this bizarre phenomenon? Theories abound. Some experts suggest mass hysteria. The pressures of life and the harsh realities of the time might have triggered a collective panic, leading to this frenzied dance. Others point to ergot fungus, a hallucinogenic mold that grows on damp rye. Consuming infected bread could lead to hallucinations and convulsions. Could this be the culprit behind the dancing plague? Another theory proposes an unknown illness, a contagious condition that spread rapidly among the population. The symptoms? Uncontrollable movements and a complete loss of control. Despite extensive research, the true cause remains a mystery. Was it a psychological outbreak, a toxic substance, or something we can't yet understand? The dancing plague captivates the imagination, leaving us to wonder what drove these people to dance to their doom. History is filled with strange events, but this one stands out as a chilling reminder of the human mind's power and the unknown forces that can grip it. History's most feared general, defeated by bunnies. In 1807, after a victorious campaign, Napoleon Bonaparte decided to celebrate with a grand rabbit hunt. Sounds simple, right? He gathered hundreds of rabbits, thinking he'd showcase his hunting skills. But things took a wild turn. When the rabbits were released, instead of scattering in fear, they charged at him. Thousands of fluffy creatures swarmed Napoleon, overwhelming him. Picture it, the mighty emperor, usually commanding armies, now dodging furry bodies. His aides watched in disbelief as Napoleon, the great strategist, found himself outsmarted by rabbits. He tried to fend them off, swinging his arms, but they were relentless. The scene was chaotic, rabbits leaping, Napoleon retreating. The once feared general was now the butt of jokes among his men. They couldn't contain their laughter. It's hard to imagine, but this moment became a legendary story, a reminder that even the greatest can face unexpected challenges. In the end, Napoleon learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes the smallest foes can bring the mightiest to their knees. Modern concrete cracks. Roman concrete? Still rock solid. Imagine structures that have stood for over 2,000 years. The secret lies in the ancient Roman recipe. They used volcanic ash, which creates a unique chemical reaction. This reaction strengthens the concrete over time. When exposed to water, the volcanic ash forms minerals that fill cracks. This self-healing ability is astonishing. While today's concrete can deteriorate in decades, Roman concrete endures. The Pantheon and aqueducts remain standing, telling stories of resilience. Why does this matter? With climate change and rising sea levels, durable materials are crucial. Roman concrete could revolutionize modern construction. It's more sustainable and less prone to damage. Scientists are studying this ancient technique to improve today's buildings. Imagine structures that last as long as the Colosseum. The lessons from Roman engineering could lead to a greener future. Next time you see a crumbling sidewalk, remember the Romans. Their concrete was not just a building material, it was a testament to ingenuity. The past holds the key to a stronger, more sustainable future. Let's learn from history and build better. The birds won. Seriously. In 1932, Australia faced an unexpected foe, emus. These large, flightless birds invaded farmland in Western Australia, destroying crops and causing chaos. Farmers were desperate. They called in the military for help, but what happened next was astonishing. Armed with machine guns, soldiers believed they could easily defeat the emus. However, the birds were smarter than anyone anticipated. Emus moved in unpredictable patterns, darting and dodging with surprising agility. Soldiers struggled to keep up. In one encounter, a group of emus scattered, leaving the military bewildered and frustrated. Despite multiple attempts, the emus kept outmaneuvering the troops. The military reported only a handful of birds taken down, while thousands remained. It became clear these birds were not going down without a fight. The emu's resilience turned the tide. After months of failed attempts, the military retreated. The emus had triumphed. This bizarre chapter in history highlights the unexpected ways nature can outsmart human efforts. The Great Emu War remains a legendary tale of animals winning against all odds. Imagine losing the internet 2,000 years ago. The Library of Alexandria was the heart of ancient wisdom, housing countless scrolls filled with knowledge from across the known world. Scholars flocked to this monumental institution, sharing ideas that shaped philosophy, science, and literature. It was a treasure trove of human thought, a beacon of enlightenment. But then, tragedy struck. Theories abound about its destruction. Some say it was a fire set by Julius Caesar during his campaign in 48 BC. Others suggest it fell victim to fanatical religious zeal or political strife. Each theory paints a picture of a world that lost its most significant repository of knowledge. What if the library had survived? What if the works of great thinkers like Archimedes or Euclid had not been lost? The implications are staggering. Could we have advanced our understanding of the universe centuries earlier? The loss of the Library of Alexandria is not just a story of destruction. It's a haunting reminder of how fragile knowledge can be. Every scroll that burned was a piece of humanity's legacy turned to ash. War started at 9 o'clock. It ended at 9:38. The Anglo-Zanzibar War, fought between the British Empire and the Sultanate of Zanzibar, is the shortest war in history. The year was 1896. Tensions rose when Sultan Hamad bin Thawani died, and his successor, Sultan Khalid, opposed British influence. The British wanted a puppet ruler who would comply with their demands. On the morning of August 27th, the British issued an ultimatum demanding Khalid step down. When he refused, the British unleashed a bombardment. The royal palace was quickly destroyed. Within minutes, the Sultan's forces were overwhelmed. The Zanzibari defenders were outmatched. They had outdated artillery and a small number of men. The British, on the other hand, had modern warships and trained troops. By 9:38, just 38 minutes later, the war was over. Sultan Khalid fled, and the British installed a new sultan, ensuring their control over Zanzibar. This astonishingly brief conflict highlights the power dynamics of imperialism and the devastating impact of colonial ambitions. A mere 38 minutes forever changed the course of a nation. Yes, Vikings had grills. Imagine fierce warriors, not just with axes and shields, but with dazzling smiles that caught the light. These ancient Norsemen adorned their teeth with intricate carvings and glittering designs. But why did they do this? Intimidation is one reason. A fierce grin could strike fear into the hearts of enemies. A warrior with decorated teeth was a sight to behold, signaling strength and ferocity. It was a way to showcase their power before battle. Social status played a role too. Those with ornate dental adornments were often seen as high-ranking individuals. It set them apart from the rest, marking them as leaders or influential figures in their communities. Fashion also influenced this trend. Just like today, appearance mattered. Vikings wanted to express their individuality and style. Unique carvings reflected personal taste and creativity. So next time you think of Vikings, don't just picture longboats and helmets. Imagine their striking smiles, a blend of intimidation, status, and fashion that defined their culture. Who knew dental art could be so fierce?